Hey, what's going on everybody? Servo here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at some Reddit topics, see what is trending over there, see what the community's been talking about since the update release almost a week ago. And if you guys would hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, helps me out tremendously. Let's jump right into it. Alrighty, so let's see what the first topic is. We have a blazing 7 slots that said Gameloft, can we please get blue moonstone chest mark on the map? I spent way too much time every day trying to find the blue moonstone chest since decorating my valley. Can we please get the moonstones marked with icons on our map, or can you limit the chest only to spawning in the valley or the plaza? This would be so helpful and quality of life improvement. Yeah, I agree. You know, this is the equivalent of a log-on bonus. Most games, upon logging on, will just put it right there in your face, like it'll pop up on your screen and it'll give you the little chest, the reward, and then it'll say a message, you know, thank you for logging on, blah blah blah. So the moonstone chest is the equivalent of a log on bonus. It's incentive to actually log on, but Gameloft does make it very difficult because you have to go out and search for them every day. Obviously a lot of people, including myself, eventually it's just like, whatever, I give up. You know, which works in their favor, because then if people are not looking for the moonstone chest, they're getting less moonstones. Therefore, you're going to have to spend more money to buy moonstones to get more premium shop items. So I think that's the way it's kind of set up, is you can go on, like log on every day and look for them. But if you don't, you're going to miss out on a good amount of moonstones that stack up over time. So I don't know if they're ever going to change this. I really wish they would. To me, it's kind of like a thank you, a gift to the players for logging on and playing your game every single day. So I agree. I think it would be a great feature. And honestly, it may benefit them if you give them that. If you give players a reason to log on every day, like a reason like you need to log on every day, that would keep people playing your game every single day. And I think it would work out for them. So I agree. I hope so. I hope they make some changes. Even if they just put it in the plaza, that would be much easier. But having it pop up would be nice. The top comment here is actually pretty interesting. They said, I would even take a hot/cold system similar to looking for relics in Cozy Grove. It's fine when they spawn in obvious places, but I definitely had more than a few tricky ones. Still means it's a hunt, but at least it's guided. So yeah, it would give you kind of a better direction of like, oh, maybe I need to head over to the Glade of Trust, or oh, maybe it's over here on the backside of it. So that would be a great way of doing it too. Alrighty, so next post we have my spiritual ad that said, agreed, Cogsworth agreed. Oh gosh, what is the spoiler? Let me check it first. Okay, it's not bad. All kinds, but perhaps I should begin with the most garish, eye-watering abomination of architecture I have ever seen. Vanellope's house? Yo, not the devs talking smack about Vanellope's house when they're the ones that designed it. That is actually insane. I like Vanellope's house. I know it's always like the running joke in the DLV community that people try to hide Vanellope's house. I think it looks good, especially if you work it in the right build, plus you pair it up with the sweet house, plus the next DLC, Wish Blossom Ranch, looks like it's going to have maybe a candy biome, or at least a small little section, so her house could fit in very nicely over there. You know, we noticed the giant red cherry that was on top of the mountains in the back. So I think just with the right build, it looks good, but that's pretty wild that they would actually put that in there. You know, this update with a lot of the dialogue, they definitely made a lot of callbacks in there. I know there was one about the clay from Minnie's Quest again, and then now they have this Vanellope one, and then there was another one. I don't want to spoil too much. There's another one in there that they called back to the struggles that DLV players have to go through, but that's pretty interesting. All right, up next, Nathan Binx said, anyone else wish they'd just done a complete Hocus Pocus themed star path? It kind of felt like this one mostly was, you know, they were like 60% through. They might as well have won all the way in. But overall, I loved the star path. Getting this house would have been incredible. So they said that they loved the star path. They wish that the Sanderson sisters' outfits would have been rewards. Had Binx as a cat. The book with the moving eye. We could have even had the Sanderson sisters' cottage pictured above as a bonus reward. So I also would love to have Binx as a cat. But then again, Binx does talk, right? So Binx could totally be an actual character rather than a companion. If anything, it would be kind of weird to have Binx as a companion, because He does do so much talking. He's an actual person, so having Binx would be cool. I think as a character going forward, we know that with Lumiere and Cogsworth and Buzz and them and Mushu, they can definitely implement smaller characters like that in. But the book with the moving eyes would be cool, and this cottage, especially if the water wheel right here would be everything. Imagine if it had like purple smoke coming up out of the chimney. I'm all on board with this idea. Let's see, Worried Intention said, should the beast turn human? Now that is an interesting question. It does seem like they're dodging around the idea of having a beast as human form. I wonder if it's because they want Dreamlight Valley version of the beast to be just the beast rather than his human form. He's only in the actual film very briefly on the first one there. They said, honestly, I'm one of the people preaching that we should get a human dream style of the beast, but now Lumiere and Cogsworth are in the valley, and possibly Mrs. Potts and Chip might show up in the future. Is it really wise that Beast become human while his servants are still, well, under the curse as well? Would we all want them all to be human in the valley as well? Yeah, so I was wondering, if they did a bundle with the Beast's human form, and then we also got Lumiere and Cogsworth in their human form as DreamStyles. We've seen drastic changes with Ursula, who was in her water form, and then Vanessa. So I think, maybe the next update, because they definitely did lots of tidbits to Chip and Mrs. Potts, and I could see them coming back from to another update as well. And then maybe that time around we'll get dream bundles that'll have like these two. We'll have Lumiere and Cogsworth and the Beast's human form. So that would be cool. I definitely see what you mean. It'd be weird to have them have DreamStyles, but then some of the other ones are still stuck in their, being like a clock or something. I personally don't think we always need to think too deeply into, Dreamlight Valley's lore like that, because it is a dreamland, so I don't think the villagers are really stressing about that or worried about it. Oh, I guess they actually touched on that down here as well. They said, I'm just curious, or maybe overthinking of characters that are not even real people. Yeah, I think, Dreamlight Valley is, it's kind of just what we make of it. And I think it's a place where everybody is happy regardless. So I think Lumiere and Cogsworth kind of like their human form, or their form that they have right here in Dreamlight Valley. But you let us know down below, would you love them to put some development time into giving us a Prince Adam skin and a Lumiere and Cogsworth human form, or would you rather them just kind of leave them all together as is? Up next, we got Beneficial Beyond that said, why is this even a fix? Yeah, I actually tested this out too during the update, and yeah, they definitely nerfed it. There was a lot of things in this update that actually got nerfed that benefited the player. It made me sad. The one that they changed that made me the most sad was where you could freeze your companions in place. I know a lot of people use that for dream snaps, and to be able to do it, you would have to go to the companion pose while you're taking a photo and then quickly click off of it and pause it, and then your companion would just freeze. So then you could do pictures, like put them in specific areas. So they changed that one. They changed the barbecue cooking station. They also nerfed it where you could get all the stoves from Scrooge's shop and break them down to get iron, so you didn't have to worry about iron. Personally, I didn't think those three things were too game breaking. The one getting unlimited iron was pretty overpowered, I'm not gonna lie. But the other ones didn't. I wish they would have spent that time fixing some issues. There's so many people that have quests that are fully blocking their progression in the game. There's so many other things where you spent real money or moonstones to purchase items, but they're not working properly. Kind of like the Autumn Clock Tower we just got in the shop. We still can't do that. We have old Star Path items like the Mulan's kites. We still can't rotate those. Like, there's a lot of items that were from the Star Path that it's kind of like we spent the moonstone and then they just kind of moved on from it. So we truly need a fix that's gonna fix all this stuff. They also could have spent this time fixing this and put it into fixing the diagonal fences that got implemented in a recent update, but they have that major gap in between them. The search bar, like they said down here, Why was this a fix over getting the search bar everybody wants? Yes, we got Mac Lorax that said, finally an outfit worthy for my character and the pose to go along with it. Yeah, I actually like this outfit. It actually looks pretty good with my character too. We ended up getting, like, this was a male outfit, you know, you could say it works for both characters, honestly, but this was a more masculine outfit, which I really loved. The Star Path one with the wardrobe, the like wizard robes and the witch robes, the purple one, that works well for both characters as well. So at least this update, we got a couple different options to choose from. But I love your hairstyle, the mustache, everything. It fits the whole vibe of your character. Oh, speaking of that, we have a post here by Acceptable Ad right here. They said, witch robes, but make it wizard. Yeah, I felt like it would definitely work for both. I did notice when my character was like wearing socks and I started running, my character's legs were going invisible, but you could still see the shoes. And so as I'm like going around through my valley, it looked kind of weird. I was kind of hoping that it would make the shoes disappear, then it could, you know, I could feel like I was a ghost zooming around the valley, but that's not the case. And then the last post we're going to take a look at is this one by Randall that said, unpopular opinion, but I'm tired of side characters. And then we got Hercules and Megara here. So they said, it's honestly so annoying to get extras like Timon, Pumbaa, Lumiere, Cogsworth when we don't even have the main characters of other movies. Like getting Hades and not even getting Hercules later is maddening. Maybe my irritation just comes from the lack of princes, but like Tiana not getting Prince Naveen over Lumiere and Cogsworth just makes me so upset. I agree. Well, I think Naveen should have came with Tiana. Tiana kind of got robbed on a lot of stuff. Didn't even get a dream style. They didn't give her a gown. They didn't give her no other dream styles until recently. Her star path was incredible though. We did get fireflies. They did a great job. She did get her own restaurant, but yeah, didn't get Naveen. So when it comes to side characters, I actually think it's a good thing. There are going to be some updates, like as we can tell from Gameloft's history and playing, you know, as we've been doing these updates, they're definitely struggling in terms of polishing up the game and getting content put out on time. It seems like they have a deadline that probably doesn't even come back to just the developers. I'm sure it's higher ups, way higher ups, that are like pushing the team of developers to get stuff out. So I feel like, you know, some of these smaller updates with some side characters kind of give them some breathing room. It kind of gives the developers a little bit time to relax, because you got to remember they're doing this 24/7, 365. They're constantly working on this. I think they get like one vacation. We usually notice around January time, but the employees over there are like being pushed pretty hard. So these smaller updates like this, I think help. I also think it helps like preserve the longevity of the game, because if you were getting all the main characters, all of them, eventually Dreamlight Valley would die off pretty quickly. But if you kind of stretch it out and always have those big ticket characters to look forward to, then the game's going to last longer. If they went ahead, gave us everyone, you know, Snow White, Winnie the Pooh, like they give us every character you want, Hercules, Megara, really quickly during each update, then eventually people would be like, oh, there's no one else really to look forward to. We got Timon and Pumbaa, or we got Lumiere and Cogsworth. So that could be one way they're doing it, kind of spacing out the big names to make this game last for years, which is good. That's what we want. We love playing this game. And it makes it more exciting to wait a little bit longer too. You always have those like, you know, we're finally getting Snow White next month. What if we already had Snow White like 2 years ago? It wouldn't be as enjoyable now that we're getting Snow White during Wish Blossom Ranch. So I think we just got to trust the process. And this could be some people's favorite characters too. You know, even though they're not like the main character, they're just side characters. Lumiere and Cogsworth could totally make someone's day. That's my opinion on it though. I like that they space it out this way. And I'm always excited for any new characters to come to the Valley. But you guys, please let me know down below any of your thoughts on anything we talked about in the video. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to watch. You are absolutely the best. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.